All right, thank you guys for coming. This is kind of like our premier event of the winter. We kind of prepare for our cleanse all December, and this is the time when everybody wants to get healthy, get back on track, get rid of a couple of pounds from the holidays, and so this is a really good way to do it. There are some nuances with this cleanse, and so if all of the guidelines and parameters don't appeal to you, you can always customize it a little bit. So we've got lots of different reasons why we like to do a cleanse. A lot of people come in thinking, I just want to lose weight, but we're going to accomplish a whole lot more during this cleanse. So by going through the course of relieving the digestive burden off the body, we're going to help you clean up some toxins, yes, reduce some fat cells, also sleep more deeply and gain some energy. So the idea of what we're doing is getting rid of all the toxins that we've been exposed to, not only like through the parties in December, but all year long. And the purpose of our group, why we put this together, is because it's so much easier to do things in community. So if you didn't grow up with the background of cooking and chopping and eating lots of vegetables, together it'll be easier to watch somebody else's example and start incorporating those habits into your own kitchen. Okay. If you want to learn a new behavior, you've got to be in relationship with other people doing it too. So Dr. Bob and I have done this cleanse for 15 years. And I always remember how many years it's been because we did it the same year that we got married. Okay, so it'll be 15 years in February. It is a challenge. There are some guidelines that are going to get you out of your comfort zone, but I promise you can do it, because the very first year we did it, we were taking pictures of everything we did, we were doing videos of everything, and we got through it. Like, we did it perfectly, and so we're going to try to provide that same example for you guys as well. So what is a toxin? What do I mean when I say we're going to try to clear our bodies of all the toxins that we're exposed to? Toxins are all of the things that can have a detrimental impact on the body. It's all the things that we breathe, like the pollution in the air and the contaminants in our water and the preservatives in our food and the anti-caking agents on the shredded cheese and all of the things that make food shelf life stable. So this cleanse is going to encourage you to get more into the produce section and to eat more foods that are quickly perishable, so that you can get away from all the convenient packaged foods. These are things that they kind of become part of our lifestyle, but I really want to get you all back more into traditional cooking methods, making your own bone broth if you've never done that before, eating some different vegetables that maybe you've never had before. And in that way, we're going to turn on the body's detoxification systems. So if you're not aware, there are many, many, many chemicals in our environment. Approximately 85,000 mostly untested chemicals that we're exposed to in the food, in the packaged drinks, in the everything. So not that we want to be neurotic, but we do want to have an eye out for what kinds of things might be hidden in the packaged foods that are not even on the label. So a couple years ago, Moms Across America did a study testing glyphosate levels in different organic and other relatively healthy looking packaged foods and found a lot more glyphosate than what we would want. And that's significant because the glyphosate acts like an antibiotic in the body, killing off our good gut bacteria. Hi, Diane. Hi, David. So of all the chemicals in our environment, the United States is kind of like a buyer beware sort of situation as compared to Europe. Europe does a lot better job testing and banning and quality controlling their food. You might have noticed if you go on vacation in Europe that you can eat more of the bread and the pasta and you don't have the same digestive upset that you have here. That's just really one example, but they do a much better job. And that's everything from their cheeses to their meats to their wines, like everything. The price of convenience. We have very busy lifestyles here. I wonder if January is a really good time to slow that down, to do a lot more home cooking and get away from, let me just get something to eat on the way home or in the midst of doing all these errands, because these kinds of foods are really a chemical experiment. And we can feel it as adults when we clean them up out of our bodies, but children are even more sensitive and not even really able to communicate what they feel except for crying, tantrums, headaches, lack of focus. Even Chick-fil-A. So even though these fast foods that taste good and have a good public image, it's really just marketing. Because if you look at the ingredients, and they're all available online on the company's different websites, you'll see many different things that you really don't want in your body. So the vegetable oils that fast food fries are cooked in are typically canola, soybean oil, vegetable oils. And most restaurants, even if they're expensive restaurants, are often using these kinds of oils. So during the cleanse, if you go to a restaurant, you might like to ask them, what are the Brussels sprouts cooked in, and can you please do them in olive oil? And you might be surprised that some restaurants say they don't even have olive oil in the restaurant. Couple of these other things that are in here. Dextrose, that's really common to see on a label, and it's basically a manufactured sugar that comes from GMO corn. The TBHQ is a preservative. You might see that in a lot of chips and other fried packaged foods. The dimethyl polysiloxane, that's the anti-foaming agent. So lots of things, if you look deeply into them, you may really question, why am I making this fast food restaurant part of my life? So MSG is not just in Chinese food. It's also in many of the flavored breading that you would find on wings, fried chicken, lots of frozen packaged items, which of course MSG can lead to nausea, headaches. I always felt like the room was spinning, if I had some of that growing up. Sucralose. A lot of people who are trying to get away from regular sodas might be tempted to drink diet sodas, or even some of the vitamin waters and even some of the protein bars. A lot of them have sucralose in them as the sweetener. So if you're looking for healthy options in drinks and packages, we don't have an issue with stevia, although some people may, not like the aftertaste. And we don't have a problem with monk fruit or allulose. But if you see something on the front of a package that says 0 calorie, low sugar, low calorie, something like that, turn it over, look at the back, and see if it's sweetened with sucralose, because that can be a major trigger to migraines and forgetfulness and lack of focus. High fructose corn syrup, obviously that's a problem in sodas, but it's also present in 9 out of 10 barbecue sauces, ketchup, sometimes salad dressings, other kinds of packaged sauces. So through the course of this cleanse, we're going to cover you up with a ton of recipes, and we have a lot of new recipes that we recently put together. Just trying to get you away from the packaged sauces and flavorings and sweeteners, all this kinds of stuff. High fructose corn syrup, if anyone has an issue with gout, oftentimes it's the fructose and high fructose corn syrup. Trans fats. So this is a problem because the trans fats are like the oxidized, man-made kinds of fats that get incorporated into our own cell membranes. Our cell membranes are made of fats. They're made of omega-3 fats, omega-6 fats, omega-9 fats, phosphatidylcholine. These are the good things that you want your cells made of, so your cells can be permeable and get their waste products out and get the good glucose for energy in. But when you're consuming trans fats that might come from margarine or coffee mate or even some kind of cheap peanut butters and other nut butters, those trans fats get incorporated into your cells and make them more rigid. So you can't get the good glucose in so your mitochondria can make energy, and you can't get the waste products out. Carrageenan, this used to be really prevalent in all the milk alternatives, but I think it was about maybe 8 or 10 years ago, Food Babe sort of led the effort against the food manufacturers to get carrageenan out. If you see this on a label, it's linked to irritable bowel syndrome. And so I haven't seen this in adult food products lately, but anything that's wet, like a wet kind of mixture, like in a pouch, you might want to take a look at. Definitely look at your cat food and dog food. It's widespread in cat food and dog food. And so if your little babies are having any digestive issues, get your readers out, take a look at all the fine print, and get rid of the carrageenan in their food. Excess sugar, obviously, thank goodness December is done. So this is an obvious one. Did you know even kids can cleanse? We don't do it exactly the same way as we do for adults, but think about all the sugars that kids are exposed to at schools. There's like cupcakes every day, celebrations all the time, and plus they have added sugar in their school lunches, like the spaghetti sauce and the pizza and the stuff that really doesn't need to be there at all. I think it's day 5 of the cleanse. We have a good marinara sauce recipe coming out, so plan to make that one. During the cleanse, we like to serve that on spaghetti squash because we're not doing a wheat-based pasta. Glyphosate, as I mentioned before, is hidden in many different packaged foods. So basically anything that comes from a large food manufacturer that has been around for 60 years. Kraft, Kellogg, even some of the organic brands are suspect of having glyphosate in them. Goldfish crackers are pretty notorious. Anything like Oreos, the Ritz crackers, you name it. It's really not good for us. So the sad effects of toxins since 2000, so that's 26 years ago now, a 600% increase in autism. So these numbers, I actually put this slide together a couple of years ago. It's probably even worse now. But over 50% of children now have a chronic disease. I would say probably 3/4 of our population is metabolically unwell, if not more. Most adults are probably pre-diabetic and have no idea. And it's possible to be thin and also be metabolically unwell with insulin resistance in the liver, even if you're not insulin resistant and gaining weight on the outside, for people to see. So as a country, this really is a huge epidemic dragging down our health as a country and increasing our healthcare costs widespread. So, but luckily, like I said, we don't want to be neurotic. We don't have to be that way because the body has all these different ways to take care of the toxins that we're exposed to. So the lymphatic system, not only in our neck, but throughout, armpits, groin, all throughout the body. The lymphatic system is how your body picks up these foreign invaders, engulfs them, and then flushes them down to the liver and then out through the body. Our skin, oftentimes we'll see evidence of some kind of pathogen or toxin because if it can't come out through the urine and feces, the body will push it out through the skin, and this is where a lot of rashes come from. Through the kidneys work together with the liver. The liver is the primary site of detoxification that we're really focusing on with this cleanse, but the kidneys are also affected. The kidneys are going to be flushed with the juniper berry that's in the SP cleanse. And we should all probably notice some increased urination because the kidneys are going to be pushed as well. For the colon, this is a primary route of detoxification. It's really the only contraindication that I would say why maybe somebody shouldn't do a cleanse is if they're currently constipated. So if you're not pooping on a regular basis already, trying to pull toxins into circulation and flush them out and push harder maybe is not a good idea. And so if anyone is constipated, please come to me or Dr. Bob, and we'll go over a way that we can get you moving and get your digestion better first. And then the lungs. The lungs are another way to excrete toxins out of the body. And of course, we want you to sweat. We want you to be breathing hard. We want you to do some aerobic activity every day because it moves the lymphatic system, it gets the blood going, and it helps you breathe out those kinds of toxins that may be in there. So like I said, we're focusing on the liver. The liver has many hundreds of different functions. Really, all you need to know is this is the site where your bile is produced, and you need bile to flow so that you can break down your dietary fats and keep your colon moving. This is the site where your hormones are neutralized and recycled. So if anyone is on hormones and maybe feeling still depleted and not really feeling the benefits of whatever it is you're using or taking, possibly it's because your liver is congested. Adding more hormones or more prescriptions into a congested liver is never a good idea. So we always like to get the liver working first because you'll never balance your hormones if the liver isn't working right. Phases of liver detoxification. You may hear us talk about phase 1, phase 2 detox, and I like to just sort of describe that as when you go around your house and you're just picking up all the trash, this is phase 1 detox. So you're getting all the trash cans, you're putting it into one bag and you're collecting it. That's phase 1. When you set it outside and the garbage truck comes and takes it away, that's phase 2. And so we're going to be accomplishing both of those mechanisms with the products that we take through the cleanse. Detoxification for some people, when they go through different programs, maybe can feel bad. If you pull a lot of toxins into circulation, but you don't work on sweeping them out, actually collecting them, binding to them, getting them out of the body, it can cause headaches, fatigue, nausea, all kinds of things you don't want. This cleanse is really good because it includes so many different food ingredients that naturally latch on to the toxins and keep the whole system moving. So the nuts and bolts of how this works is basically that we're going to unburden the digestive process so the body can focus resources on other things in the body. If you're doing the 21-day cleanse, the first 10 days typically consist of no meat. We're basically vegetarian for the first 10 days, and then we can add in meat on day 11. However, I'm going to make this optional. If you're a man who's very muscular, you're probably not going to like not having meat during those 10 days, and it might make you kind of grumpy. So that's optional. Also, if you're a menopausal woman and you've been working really hard to get enough protein in your diet to maintain some muscle mass, then eliminating the meat for the 10 days is optional. I think it's a fantastic experiment. Dr. Bob and I have done it every single time we've ever done this cleanse before. I'm just now feeling like protein is so important. I would hate to take away something from someone. Like I don't want to make that mandatory. Okay. Yes. That for the 21 day. For the 21 day. For the 10-day cleanse, you can eat meat as regularly. Okay. We do want to keep the portion sizes small. We don't want to overload your digestive system because meat is kind of hard to digest as compared to cooked vegetables. Through this cleanse, we're going to eliminate the top food sensitivities. Those would be wheat, dairy, corn, and soy, and peanuts. And then we'll also eliminate beans, not because they're unhealthy, they're just hard to digest, and they can cause a lot of bloating and gas. So these foods that we're eliminating are not necessarily unhealthy, but if you have been feeling kind of bloated and weighed down, taking these out of the diet should be very helpful in getting you to feel better. We're basically only going to eat foods that are super easy to digest. We're also not going to have any stimulants, so no coffee, but green tea is okay. Now, I don't want anyone to have withdrawal headaches. So if you're one of those people who's been having like 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day, then let's just tone it down to 1. And you can taper that as you wish. But getting the stimulants like sugar, like coffee, out of the diet really should help to allow your adrenal glands to refresh themselves, to strengthen, and you should start having more natural energy and not feeling so foggy in the morning. Coffee is actually like a really toxic product. Yes.
How about half cap and half decaf?
So you can, but I want you to consider there's a couple different ways to make decaf. So there's the Swiss water method, which leaves a relatively clean product, but if it doesn't say Swiss water on your decaf, then it's probably chemically induced and can leave more toxic residues than regular coffee. So I have a blog on our website that goes into all the ins and outs and nuances of coffee and why you have to be really careful with the one that you choose. For people who have heartburn, they should be choosing a low acid coffee. But when we're trying to keep toxins out of the body and feel better, like with better brain function, you want mold-free and organic because coffee is a very heavily sprayed crop. And then if it's just like regular decaf, they might be introducing additional chemicals to pull that caffeine out. So anyway, if you feel like you need a little caffeine, I would go with black tea or green tea, whether it's matcha or regular. We use a lot of tea chino and cinnamon tea because those give you the same kind of flavor and aroma that you're used to, just not the stimulant.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
It's not there, but I'm assuming that this includes alcohol.
Yes. I'm going to get to the alcohol too.
Okay, sorry.
Yes. We want to drink lots and lots of water starting in the morning. Like, don't just save all your water till the end of the day because then you'll be waking up to pee at night. Lots of water because that moves the lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system that drains to the liver does not have a heart to pump it. And so we need you to pump it. We want lots of water, lots of movement, rebounding, running, walking, Zumba, whatever. Yes.
How about mushroom coffees or mushroom teas?
Those are fine. Yeah, if you can. Yeah. Lots of vegetables. Like I said, we're going to cover you up with a ton of recipes. We're going to have high quality protein from the protein shakes, which are plant-based. And also, when you get to the part where you're eating meat, meat should be small portions like the palm of your hand, and it should be high quality. So I don't want people eating deli meat because of the meat glue. We don't want people eating pepperoni and a lot of the typical bacon, salami, those types of things, because there are so many preservatives and salt and whatever. I'd like you to be experimenting with different kinds of vegetables from the produce section, lots of different herbs and spices that are naturally anti-inflammatory. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that, and everything homemade as much as possible. Potential sensitivities. Okay, so I touched on these already. The wheat, the barley and rye, so your big gluten type flours, dairy, because it's very inflammatory. Dairy is very hard on the pancreas. It's very mucus producing, and a lot of people have colds and sniffles during this time and don't need any more mucus. So corn, because 97% of the corn in this country is GMO. Soy as well, because it's often contaminated with glyphosate and can be an endocrine disruptor. Peanuts, because they tend to have aflatoxin on them. And then, like I mentioned, tree nuts and beans. So most of the protein bars that we tend to eat will have almonds or other kinds of nuts in there. We want to get you out of your comfort zone, seeking out things that are made with seeds or making your own. If you make your own keto granola or make your own energy bars or little balls and bites, we have tons of recipes for those. It's really going to be a lot healthier and will probably save you money too. No shellfish and no catfish because of the presence of the heavy metals in the ocean. Eggs are a really good experiment. So there's nothing wrong with eggs, but you may be sensitized to the proteins that are in the egg whites. All of us have received childhood vaccinations, and a lot of them were actually cultured on egg white. And a lot of them have peanut oil in them. And so this is where some of the sensitivities that our kids are facing, where they're coming from. So if you've never gone 21 days eliminating eggs before, I highly suggest that you do it. There's no telling what you may notice. Joint pain may go away, headaches may go away. It may be just one more little bit of inflammation that could be bogging you down that you've never really figured out. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the MSG, the artificial colors and sweeteners. So if you're doing the 21-day cleanse, you'll find in your bag 2 bottles of SP Cleanse and 2 bottles of Diaplex. And we're going to take those 2 products 15 a day the whole way through. If you do this perfectly, your supplements will run out on day 20. Nobody's perfect. You're probably going to miss a dose or 2 somewhere, and you can take those missed doses on day 21. For the 21 day, you'll get 2 tubs of protein powder. One is the chai. The chai detox balance has a decent amount of fiber in it, and you should notice that it's very thick and filling. We like to do that one with a 50-50 mix of water and coconut milk, because if you use coconut milk totally, it's just too sludgy and thick. Also, through the course of 21 days, you're going to like to have some variety. You would get kind of bored if you had the exact same shake all the time. So that's why we have 2 for you. On the 10-day cleanse, you have 1 bottle of Diaplex, 1 bottle of SP Cleanse. You have an additional bottle of Metabol because we are trying to accomplish a lot in a very short time. And then you'll have 1 tub of protein powder, which of course you can make lots of different ways because we have some recipes for you. Taking a closer look at your products, SP Cleanse has 20 plus foods and herbs in here that move the lymphatic system, the liver, and the kidneys. So like I said, you should notice more frequent urination, probably more frequent bowel movements, but they should be smaller and easier than normal because all of these different herbs are stimulating your bile production, thinning the bile, and helping it to flow more easily. Diaplex, this is our #1 best-selling product in the office. Probably a lot of you have already taken Diaplex, maybe at a much lower dose, just through our regular nutrition consults. Diaplex, taking this 5-5-5, is going to crush those carbohydrate and sweet cravings, and it's going to help you make healthy choices more easily. So after the cleanse, if you really enjoyed taking this one, most people are taking Diaplex 2-2-2 on a regular basis, or maybe 3 in the morning and 3 at night. That's a really good maintenance dose. The Detox Balance Chai Shake, like I said, it has a lot of fiber in it, has a little bit of a spicy flavor. It's really good, something a little bit different from the vanilla and the chocolate. In order to make it taste even a little bit better, we like to add cinnamon. The Veggie Complete, these are plant-based protein powders. They have pea protein, sunflower seed, sesame seed. Is that what I said? Pea protein, pumpkin seed, sesame seed. Okay. Also have some amino acids in there. And so this is a very good source of protein. Different ways that we like to make smoothies. What Dr. Bob did today, he made it in a shaker bottle where you just put the protein powder in, some coconut milk and water, makes a nice thin shake, and that's good to have it with a meal like that. If you would like to make your shake like a meal replacement, you can blend it in a magic bullet with avocado, banana, greens, other different kinds of fruits or veggies. You can add a little MCT oil, makes it even a little bit more filling and like a meal replacement. So with your shakes, we'd like everybody to aim for 2 shakes a day and then add 2 or 3 scoops of protein powder in your shake, and then anything else you like.
Claire, just sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
does the chai have the amino acid as well?
Yes,
Just like the veggie
yes,
does?
yes.
The same amount approximately?
It's basically kind of the same formula. The chai shake has the addition of the fiber, and it also has more of the Spanish black radish than the vanilla and the chocolate did. And so when they formulated it, it didn't have the greatest taste because of the extra radish, and that's why they put the chai flavors in there. It just kind of, just for taste. Okay, so the taste is maybe a little bit earthier, not quite as sweet, but yes, both of them have a similar amount of protein. They both have amino acids. The major difference is really the fiber. Mm-hmm. So for the 10-day people, you'll have a bottle of Metabol Complex, and this, like I said, works on insulin resistance of the liver, and it helps support bile production, movement of the liver, and also pancreatic enzymes. So we've got 4 different herbs in the Metabol. These are fenugreek, cinnamon, bitter melon, and black cumin seed. A really good combination. Each of those 4 have benefits for insulin resistance, sugar handling, and are especially good for people who tend to have high triglycerides. Remember to drink lots of water. If you want to poop tomorrow, you have to drink water today. It's surprising how many people come in like, my number 1 problem is constipation. I'm like, how much water do you drink? Like 3 bottles a day? It's not going to cut it. We want lots of water. We also want you to have lots of bone broth. We want you to have the shakes, lots of fluids and liquids, herbal teas, green teas, just nothing that's really dehydrating. Summer bodies are made in the winter. That is what we are working on this month. So all the things that are not allowed, I've already touched on some of these. Feel free to take a picture of this screen if you think you'll need it. But wheat, dairy, corn and soy, nuts and beans. So if you want to make chili through January, just choose a recipe that's mostly plant-based and it doesn't have beans. We're limiting the canned items because the canned liners have BPA in them. Oatmeal because it's high glycemic. Granola, store-bought granola. We do have recipes for you if you would like to make your own keto granola or keto type cereal. That would be totally fine. And then you can have that with coconut milk. Okay, so about alcohol, I know a lot of people like to have a drink while they're fixing dinner because it kind of takes the edge off, helps you feel maybe a little more creative while you're cooking, but we're not doing alcohol through this cleanse, obviously. I want you to not believe the lie that everything in moderation is fine. It's really not fine. Huberman gave a really good podcast who went into excruciating detail about how even just 1 glass of alcohol a day is very inflammatory. It's bad for the brain. It's bad for our microbiome. It's bad for our longevity. Just 1 glass of alcohol can interrupt our deep sleep. It can alter our mood the next day. So people who tend to feel a little susceptible to depression in the winter definitely want to stay away from alcohol and instead probably want to bump up your vitamin D. It impairs muscle recovery and lowers energy. So if this has been a habit for you, I would suggest trying out some of those adaptogenic drinks that are low sugar. We serve some of these at our Christmas party. Recess, Hi-Yo, Peak Cocktails, and Moment. You can find them at Whole Foods, Sprouts, or order online, or just ask me because we usually have some on hand. So all the things that we can have, herbal teas, tea chino, matcha, sparkling water, LaCroix, all these are fine. Spindrift especially. I want you to have lots of different vegetables. Try to have twice as many vegetables as fruits. Have some new things you've never had before. Sweet potatoes, quinoa, homemade hummus. All of these things we have great recipes for, and I'll show you in just a minute. Rice cakes, seed butters, homemade seed butters, homemade protein bars. And then the oils that I want you cooking with would be coconut oil, olive oil, butter, and ghee. That's pretty much it. Stocking up. These would be the essentials that I always like to pick up on, day 1 of the cleanse, or day 0, which is actually today. Homemade bone broth is very easy to make if you save your rotisserie chicken carcasses through the year. So we always tend to have a couple. So probably later today, we'll be turning on the slow cooker and we'll let our broth cook for 24 to 48 hours. You want to make sure you have cinnamon, ginger, and turmeric on hand, very anti-inflammatory herbs. I like to get the Melissa's steamed beets and the Melissa's lentils that are already softened and cooked. Spaghetti squash, frozen fruit for the freezer so you can have some variety in your smoothies. Different kinds of herbal teas, different kinds of greens, sweet potatoes, and then of course, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, everything in the produce section that's looking good. And definitely we want to do organic. Okay. So what does a typical day look like on the cleanse? We had somebody come in the other day and she's like, I just don't know if I can do this fasting thing. Like, we're not fasting. We're eating as much food as we want. It's just all homemade food and it's really good, nourishing food. So you might start your day with a smoothie or just a cup of tea, and then maybe have a salad for lunch and have another shake. And then dinner is just a normal dinner. So you may like to cook a whole vegetarian meal with roasted vegetables. Easiest thing is just to get like a sheet pan, chop everything, put all the veggies on there, olive oil, salt, pepper. Like, you don't even need a recipe for that, and you could do that every single night of the cleanse. And then add to that maybe half of a sweet potato or a portion of meat if you're in the meat phase. All right, so if you're looking for recipes, if you happen to have an AIP autoimmune book, all the recipes on the autoimmune diet fit this cleanse. If you have downloaded the Standard Process 1 Degree of Change cookbook, that's a PDF that's in your resources email. Did everybody get their emails? Yes? Have you noticed? No? Right, Lisa, yes, because you're new. Okay.
Did you get your emails? It would be in there somewhere?
It should be. So take a look before you go and I'll make sure that you're on there. So you should have received a welcome to the cleanse email. 5 minutes after that, a resources, and there are several different buttons where you can click and download. And this 1 Degree of Change cookbook is in there. Then of course there's also our Facebook group where we like to take pictures of our food because it's more motivating. If you see that Tracy made her stuffed peppers, you might get inspired to make stuffed peppers the next night. Every single day you're going to receive an email. So if you didn't find it, then it might be in your spam or your trash. Gmail tends to filter these things. So you would just need to add info@drbobbacon.com to your contacts. And then all of those new recipe packets that we've created and put in your emails, they're also available on our website if for some reason your email just doesn't like our email. So you can go to drbobbacon.com, click on blogs, and then in that pull-down menu, there's a link for cleanse recipes. And that takes you to a page where we've got all the different downloads that you can do. Questions? So I handed out the frequently asked questions page. Could be a few things in there. Christy.
What's so bad about peanuts? Even if we got organic peanuts. butter? What's the thing there
Mm.
that's not very good?
It's the way that they're stored. So, okay, so one, they're heavily sprayed and treated. But even if you get them organic, the way they're stored tends to grow a mold aflatoxin on them, and they can often be a neurological trigger. Yeah. Okay. It can just be one of those things. And in addition to that, peanut oil, is in childhood vaccines, some of them. And so sometimes people have like a little bit of a hidden sensitivity. So most people who come into our office and start with nutrition with us, they want to know how to improve their sleep, how to improve their energy, how to lose weight. A lot of people are struggling with focus. And it could be some of these very subtle things where it's not a food sense, like not an allergy, but a slight sensitivity. And if we just kind of clean those out, it's a really good experiment to see how much better you can feel.
Is almond butter better, or is there a better? Like
Almond
sunflower butter?
Almond butter is better.
Okay.
So
Cashew butter?
cashew butter is better. Yes. But during the cleanse, we try to eliminate those two just to kind of get out of our comfort zone, see food in a different way, maybe go for the seed butters or making something homemade instead, just to kind of just try something new. Yes.
Some of these questions. And some
Okay.
of that almond butter you can actually get like at Whole Foods. You can grind your own almond butter, stuff like that. So that would be a better option.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This might be very specific, but if I'm doing castor oil pack, should I stop doing those during the cleanse?
No, castor oil packs be great.
No,
Yeah.
that would be fantastic.
Very
And
detoxifying.
only just going to help facilitate more. So not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me? Yep, please.
Okay.
Lisa.
I'm taking doxycycline antibiotics because I have some surgery.
Mhm.
Can I still do the cleanse?
100%. I don't think there's any problem with that. Just as long, remember, we want to make sure that the bowels are moving. As long as bowels are moving, and if they ever slow down, that's when you let us know. Okay. You just don't want that to be a problem. Want to make sure everything's moving the way it's supposed to. As we start to detoxify, we want those to be eliminated and not flushed back into the system.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yes. Yeah. And for your first time, we should probably keep in close touch so we make sure that you're feeling good, all along the way. So if people do have questions, you can send a message through the Facebook group. You can email me directly. You can call the office and we can do a phone consult. So reach out if any of you have any questions.
Yeah, very accessible. So please, this group here is tiny compared to the amount of people that are doing it.
Yeah.
So you should see yesterday and the days before, Tracy's running around. I think she was telling you guys we can't give you all the products because we ran out of stuff in the office. So we actually have figured it out and everything's gonna be okay. But yeah, it's hard to keep track of it because there's so many people that do it and then they redo it. And somebody was asking about the 10-day versus 21-day. People do the 10-day because it seems easier. It's less of a push on the system, but once they do the 10-day, they just continue because it feels so good anyway. The only difference between that 10-day and the 21-day is you just remove the meat, right? That's really the biggest difference. And people are so like, wow, I don't know if I can live without meat. There are people that fast and work out. There are people that fast and do whatever. So your body has plenty of stored nutrients. It's really how well is it utilizing it to help it work through it. So
If we decide from the 10-day to go to the 21-day, we have the supplements for the other.
we have everything.
Yes.
Yeah, we do have everything downstairs right now.
Yeah.
Be the first one down.
We do stock all of these products
Yes.
all year round. Because some people take lower doses, maintenance doses, you can do a cleanse like this any time of the year. It's just more fun as a group. So yeah.
And we do it quarterly. We kind of break it up and people come in and do whatever. And they just let us know they're doing it. And if most people are doing a protocol with us, we'll just look at your protocol and then monitor or tweak it if we need to. Because it's overkill on some of the stuff that you're already doing. So yeah. Any other questions?
Oatmeal, you have organic rolled oat recipes, but it is an oat, which was on the eliminate list. But
yes, I should clarify that. Okay. So the kind of oatmeal that we don't want would be the high glycemic, high sugar. So if you get the instant oatmeal, put it in a glass, just a regular glass, and take a spoon and stir it around for a minute, and all the sugar or whatever will separate, and you'll see how much sugar is in there. It's actually quite a lot. So if you're going to make oatmeal, we want it to be like the rolled oats that are slightly less processed, and add some fat and protein into it. So add some butter, add some coconut oil, maybe add some seeds. Mm-hmm.
Can we do only rolled, like gluten-free organic rolled, or can we do gluten-free organic steel cut?
No, that's fine too.
They're both-
Okay.
they're-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
That's fine too. Yeah, it's just the kinds that take a little bit longer to cook, because the instant
We make it
ones
all
are
ourselves.
a
We
little,
don't buy
yeah,
any packets.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But that's just
Yeah,
clarification.
that's fine.
So,
Yeah, perfect.
That's
'Cause
fine.
Then we can do that for breakfast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just consider that it is a lot of carbohydrate, and so be sure to get some good activity.
And that's just, and
Yeah.
when you get that too, remember it's a bigger spike. Remember in that morning that cortisol is elevated anyway. So then you're throwing that carbohydrate in there. So everything just feels like it's a little bit higher. So that may be that afternoon, kind of a little bit more of that crash, right? It kind of starts to fall off. So be aware
Yeah,
of that
could.
and see how you feel.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, I mean, to your point, for the breakfast, like I rely a lot on eggs and having kind of like a high protein breakfast in the morning. I know there's the shake. I don't know how much protein is in there, but
Yeah.
a lot of times like plant protein doesn't seem to just kind of
You're right.
fill
Yeah.
me or do it for me or whatever. So
Yes. So remember, you can also have chicken. You can have meatballs. You can have leftovers from the night before.
Yeah, we get so bogged down on breakfast is just breakfast food.
Yeah,
Pancakes,
doesn't
eggs,
have
yeah,
to
no,
bacon,
I
be-
don't
whatever,
do
right?
any of that.
Right,
The
but-
carbs really screw me
right.
up in the morning.
But we get so used to breakfast food, when really you can have something that would be for dinner, even for breakfast. That's kind of the idea. It's just trying to make it valuable for you so you enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And it may also be a little bit of a pushback, because what we're talking about also is that Diaplex will help that curb that appetite. And anything that's worth doing has a little bit of, I gotta put some energy into
Some
it, right?
discomfort.
So know that as you push through this, you're actually changing your physiology and maybe even changing some of those boundaries that you've already set or your body's already set for you.
Mm-hmm.
And see how much you can push it, right? We're not asking 40 days and 40 nights of a full fast. We're asking just to change that body enough, give it 10 days, and then see how your body responds. At the end of it, then go and, make yourself accountable and see kind of where you are with how you feel. Because if you're feeling amazing at the end of this, it's almost like we've already set that boundary down for ourselves at the beginning. And now that we've been through it, you're like, oh, wow, this wasn't so bad, right? So
Yeah.
So just know that this is a little bit of a challenge. This is definitely something that's different than what you've dealt with in the past. But we have a few repeat offenders in here in this room right now.
Yes.
That thank you for showing up today. But
Right,
they've
right.
already done this. They could probably stand up here and give the kind of the information.
Well, I mean, yes, the majority of people who are doing the cleanse with us are not at the kickoff meeting because they've done this before.
Yeah, so just
they kind of know.
repeating.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. It's kind of fun for us. That's where our hustle and stress is. Not this. This is easy. Because this is fun for us to give you good new ideas. Because this is stuff we do on a regular basis to try and help you guys and move you in a better direction, which is fun for us. Just like with chiropractic, what else we do. So the people who've already been through this, we're planning for them because now their protocols are changing. They want this. They want to do the cleanse.
Oh, right. That was something that I wanted to mention. So
Okay.
if you're already on a nutritional protocol, and if you're going to take the cleanse supplements, we can put some of your regular protocol on hold. Usually we like to keep the adrenal support because there's no adrenal support in the liver cleanse. And also you may like to keep some B vitamins. So if you're taking anything adaptogenic or glandular like adrenal desiccated or something like B stress complex or cataplex B, continue that. Pretty much everything else that's digestive oriented or whatever you can put to the side. People probably want to continue their vitamin D or whatever other immune support you might have. If you're not on a vitamin protocol, then just focus on what you have with the cleanse. And then when you get done, then we can talk about, did you see all the changes that you wanted to feel? And if you didn't, we'll figure out what those gaps were and then how to go forward.
And if you have questions about that kind of stuff too, just reach out to us. We'll look at your protocol and tell you kind of what to change or what to stay.
Yes. So anybody who didn't receive their first 2 emails, let me know. Your next email will be coming out at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning.
You'll get them every morning. So also before we wrap up, I mean, how amazing, right? This is great information. So I want to thank Claire for definitely putting this together. It is a Saturday. Everybody's busy, so we appreciate your time. We appreciate us being here too to be able to kind of help you guys out. can answer the questions. We'll be around downstairs for a little bit, just kind of help you guys get some stuff. If you have any other questions,
Are you going to do
Let
any
you
more
know.
smoothies?
Has Amy not tried anything? I've got a couple in there that I can just kind of let you try. Yeah, you guys want to have some. Most of everybody has tried something, but yeah, we just did the chocolate today. The chai's got a nice flavor to it. Anyway, like I said, you guys, we are very open-ended and very
Accessible.
Yeah. We hope to facilitate this to make this very easy for you. So please don't, by any means, feel like you can't reach out to us if there's any questions throughout this whole thing. And some of us are taking their husbands along with them. Nice, good job for you. Well done. Just keep re-encouraging him. He'll be have plenty of energy. He'll be fine. So, but anyway, anything else? You got everything?
Yeah.
All right.
give you our emails and stuff?
Yeah. If you have any
Mhm,
questions about
mhm.
stuff, come on up. If not, then yeah, we'll let you guys we'll turn you loose. All right. Thank you guys for your Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.